I was very keen on really fleshing out Superman's early stages of his journey first. We had Man of Steel, and then we went quite a bit darker with Batman v Superman. And if he were to succumb to the anti-life equation and become bad Superman, I really wanted to make sure that we saw the hero, Superman, and we saw the true symbol of hope, the beacon of light, before we went down the path of darkness and then redemption. And still something that I am very keen to flesh out. Man of Steel. The wonderful thing about Man of Steel and what Snyder and Nolan and I wanted to do with Superman was create a Superman who was accessible in the sense that what would we do if we lived in a world where we had to keep every single aspect of ourselves hidden and we couldn't really truly interact with people, and how would that affect us? It's especially when you have that scene with Kevin Costner who's saying, look, don't reveal yourself. The world is not ready for you yet, and it'll only be a bad thing. Clark does follow that advice at first, but then realizes that's not the way to go, and that he must do what he must do regardless of that advice. And that was the beautiful bit, is that even though he has restrained himself and lived this life of loneliness, essentially, he's still willing to step out of the shadows and become the hero, despite the fact that it's going to have a negative impact on his life. And that, I think, is the aspect of that symbol of hope. He's representing everything that is good about mankind, despite the fact that mankind may not be good to him.
Don't do this! Stop! Never.
At the end of Man of Steel, it was set up so wonderfully to begin that journey, because he had had his first outing against the last surviving member of his species, and had to kill him, and that is going to inform a lot of who he becomes. The terrible destruction of Metropolis, where he's fighting someone who has the same powers of him, but actually has training. He barely makes it out of that thing alive. And so what lessons has he learned? He definitely isn't going to kill anymore. And he's definitely going to make sure that population centers are completely removed from the equation, because now he's experienced it and now he's thinking about it. And so we get those steps towards building that incredible, wise version of Superman, rather than the still wet behind the ears kind.